Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Alayla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. So welcome back to Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, Alayla Carroll. Today, we're going to tackle how to spot red flags early in your dating experience. Before we get all emotionally invested, red flags are subtle at first. They might feel like a small gut instinct to you, a question unanswered, or a behavior you can't quite put your finger on. But ignoring them can cost you emotionally and sometimes financially. But I want to let you know I'm here to help you with all that. By the end of today's episode, you will know how to recognize these warning signs and trust your instinct. You're going to trust your intuition confidently. You're going to be so confident in spotting these red flags early that you will not be wasting too much of your time anymore. So, what are red flags? Difference between minor quirks and true red flags. Examples are inconsistency, secretive. You got that little secret stuff going on, not being quite honest. Excessive charm. Please be aware of the charmer. I'm going to talk about that in other episodes about the charmer, as well as manipulative behavior. There's a client of mine. Let's just call her Lisa. She ignored small inconsistency in text messages. See, they can start anywhere. They ain't just face to face. It's not just talking over the phone. Sometimes it's in a text message. We might think, oh, maybe I read the text wrong. No, you didn't read it wrong. You know exactly what you felt when you read the text the very first time. So by the time that she realized that she was in a manipulation relationship, she was already invested 3 months emotionally into the relationship, which made it hard for her to give up on it. So I've been there. I have been there. And I talk about myself quite often because I pull from my own experiences when I talk to you guys, because I know for a fact that a lot of you have been through some of the things I've been through. And we all have our own experiences in our own way, but a lot of similarities, So I'm going to give you an exercise. I want you to take your notepad out. I want you to write down a list of 3 behaviors that make you uncomfortable. I want you to ask yourself, is this something I can overlook or a red flag I should pay attention to? And what you're writing down are 3 behaviors that you have found out in your partner that you started dating, or your past relationships that you can recall. For some of you who are probably not even in a relationship, but you can think back on some of your relationships and say, this made me feel uncomfortable, that made me feel uncomfortable. So for me, I had some red flags early on with my second husband, and I ignored them. And I knew I was ignoring them. I wasn't blindsided. I literally ignored them for my own personal reason. I was lonely and I didn't want to keep starting over. So I was accepting the behavior and I was settling for what I was getting. And I'm going to talk about that as well, not in this episode, but other episodes, because I thought about this the other day and I was like, you know what? I need to write about why it's harmful to settle. And I'm going to talk about that in a different episode, but not today. Today we're talking about spotting red flags early. So once you have written down the 3 things that make you feel uncomfortable about your mate, your partner, your dating partner, then you're going to ask yourself these 2 questions. Number 1 is this something that I can overlook? Like, I don't need to make a big deal about it. It's not going to be a big deal in the future, even if they keep doing it or saying it. Or is it a red flag that you need to pay attention to? Let's talk about red flags that shows up when your date get angry. I want to talk about anger. This is crucial because how people handle anger reveals their emotional regulation, respect, and potential for manipulation or abuse. Now, let's also talk about something most people overlook: how your dates behave when they get angry. Anger is natural, all right? We have to know that. It's how someone expresses it. That's the problem. Well, it could be the problem. It could not be the problem. It could also be okay, depending on how they express it. That tells you a lot about their character. The way a person expresses their anger tells you so much about their character. And that's why when we get to the bonus episode, knowing a person in all 4 seasons, that is going to be the main reason why it's going to be so crucial to know the person in all 4 seasons before you get completely invested into that person, because you need to know what they're like when they're angry. But it's not only the anger that can take place that can start something that is not good. It's also how they are when they're sad and happy and all those other things, okay? But here are the key red flags to watch out for. Number 1, overreacting or exploding over small things. So here's an example of that. You forget to reply to a text, or you forget to just do something for them that's so minor that you forgot to do, and they blow up over it. It's just very small. So why is this a red flag? It shows low emotional regulation and a tendency to escalate minor issues unnecessarily. That's a red flag to watch out for. So number 2, name calling or belittling you. I went through this in my second marriage, the name calling, and I let it slide. I mean, I got pissed off about it and said a lot of things, but it still doesn't matter. It just shouldn't happen. And using insults, criticism, or cutting remarks when frustrated. Why it's a red flag is because this is emotional manipulation and disrespect. Even if they apologize later on, it doesn't matter, because they should not have done it in the first place. And I guarantee you, if you allow them to do that, they will do it again. It's just because that's who they are. And that's too easy and natural for it to come out of them like that. When they get angry, then I advise you, it's time to walk away from that, unless you just don't care. And you pretty much think that, hey, I call him a name back. Well, you just created a toxic relationship at that point. So number 3, blaming others exclusively. Never taking responsibility for their own actions or words. Why it's a red flag is because lack of accountability often translate to future relational problems, and you will have to deal with that, which will make it very hard for your relationship to grow in a healthy way. Number 4, treats not treats, threats. Threats are intimidations. Now, this is a dangerous situation. The person is threatening you or they're intimidating you. You don't need to be with this person. It's time to move on because this is dangerous. Because verbal threats, passive aggressive statements, any type of statement that is just passive aggressive or implied danger. The reason why it's a threat is because any form of intimidation is unacceptable and can escalate to abuse. And most likely it will escalate to abuse. And what we're trying to do is avoid abusive relationships. And we want to avoid them at all costs. We don't want to get into those type of relationships. That's what we're doing here. And that's why I'm teaching you how to date properly so you can avoid those type of relationships. And our relationship doesn't always have to be physically abusive. They can be emotional abusive. They can be mental abusive, financial abusive. So I'm teaching you all these things. Sexual abusive, overly sexually active, like they just gotta have it 5-6 times a day, and you don't have that kind of energy or time, and they just like demand it or make you feel bad about it. Those are the things I'm trying to help you stay away from. Now, if you the type that got to have it just as well as they do, then that's different. Y'all equally yoke on that part, So number 5, silent treatment or stonewalling. Completely withdrawing, refusing to communicate, or punishing you with the silent treatment. Like you a child. I'm not talking to you. And the reason why it's a red flag is because emotional withdrawal is a form of manipulation tactic that controls you, or it make you feel guilty. It puts on a guilt trip. And that is not good. So number 6, excessive jealousy or possessiveness. Some people think it's cute that their partner is jealous. That is not cute. Not at all. And there's nothing cute about it. Okay? Because anger, when a person get angry, when they're jealous, when they're a jealous person, it becomes dangerous. Angry when you talk to a friend or mention a past relationship, those are things to put that red flag up and say, ding, 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 hold up, this is not going to work out. And the reason why is because this shows controlling tendencies and potentially can escalate to something more dangerous in the future, like isolation from your family, your friends, even just certain things with you going to work. The jealousy can escalate into that area as well. So that's why you want to be very, very careful with a person who is jealous or possessive. And then number 7 is aggressive body language. Oh man. Oh my goodness. I think I told a story about this one time with my ex-husband, my second husband, when he had this aggressive body language when one of my friends came over to the house was Father's Day to ask me to take a picture of him and his son, and my ex-husband blew up. But the way he did it, first it was his body language that started. First he had his hands crossed. First he had his hand crossed. Then he stopped holding. Then he uncrossed his hands and put them on his hip. He was sitting down. He had his hand on his hip. He had that ugly face expression, like, who the hell is this? Why the hell he could just walk in your house without knocking? And I'm thinking like, Dad, this is not gonna go well. So I have to go through all this spiel about this is my friend. We've been friends for 9 years. He's nobody that I'm having sex with. He is just a friend, and other things that I have to go down the whole line, and it was just not nice. And all I want you to know is that aggressive body language, standing too close to you, basically trying to make sure that you're their possession, showing the world this is mine, glaring, hitting the walls when they get angry, or throwing objects. All those things are horrible. And the reason why it's a red flag is because physical aggression, even small, is a warning sign for potential danger to you. Here's an exercise for you I want you to do. What I want you to do is think back to your last date or past relationships, any one of them that you can think of. I want you to write down how your partner reacted when they were frustrated or angry. You can just pick one of them that stands out the most to you. And write down, how did they react? Did any of these red flags that I just named, that they appear in any of your partner's reaction? Even the small signs matter. So don't overlook that and say, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. No, it's a big deal. Write it down. Because there often could be a predictor in the future that can let you know, be careful when you run across that type of behavior with someone else. All right? So I want you to remember that anger itself isn't the problem. It's the way it's expressed. Some people, sometimes someone who stay calm.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alaylacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. And communicate their feelings and resolve the conflict respectfully. That's the person who is safe to date, because they are emotionally mature, and that's what you're looking for. Someone who is emotionally mature. Anger is an emotion, and it is normal. Just pay attention to how they express it. That's what you want to do. I have a tip for you. I want you to think about this. Anger is a high pressure scenario. I want you to watch how someone reacts in these moments. Okay? Any high stress times, when they're stressed, when it's very high, I want you to pay attention to their character. Look at how they react in those high stress times, because it often is what going to help you see who they really are. It's often more revealing than anything else. I don't care about what situation they're in, how they're feeling. When you pay attention to a person when they're angry, you get the chance to really see their true character. That is how you know who you're dealing with. Okay? So let's talk about emotional versus situational red flags. So you got emotional red flags, and then you also have situation red flags, things that happen and put you in a situation. So emotional red flags, what they are is controlling tendencies, jealousy, and gaslighting. Situational red flags are unexpected absences, things that happened unexpectedly. You're not really knowing or seeing it coming, okay? But then you also have things like hiding finances, like people who hide their finances. They don't want you to know how much money they make, so they tell you a certain amount. And this is what I'm trying to get here to let you know about the finances, that when you get serious in a relationship, everyone is not responsible on telling you how much they make unless you are literally thinking about moving in together. Then you need to know about these finances, because now you got the opportunity to know if y'all can make it together, or if some changes need to be made to help you make it together financially. But then you also have inconsistent stories. So that's another situational manipulation tactic that's a red flag you got to pay attention to, because people don't always tell the truth. They always change up sometimes. So if you got that going on, pay attention to that. So here's another story I want to tell you about someone. I mentioned this person before, but I'm going to talk about him again in a different scenario. So Mario is another client of mine. Mario, that's not his real name, by the way. I just made the name up. Don't want you to know his real name for client confidentiality. So Mario noticed his dates that he was dating was avoiding talking about her past relationships. And on paper, when he met her, it seemed like it's just a small situation, like it wasn't a big deal. But it was a red flag indicator that avoidance also means accountability, and she was not being accountable for what was going on in her past relationship, which led to the destruction of what was going on in their current relationship. That's one reason why we're going to talk about background checks, and that's going to be the next episode that we're going to talk about on why you need to know who you're dealing with before you get serious with them, and you find this information out on your own without asking all the 101 questions that give them the opportunity to make up a story behind. You get to find it on your own. So what you want to do is trust your intuition. If your gut is tense, pause and investigate, okay? I want you to pause, and I want you to investigate the situation. Anytime you're talking to your date and something inside of you says something is not right, that is the time to take notes and start investigating that situation. It's okay to know who you're dealing with. Actually, it is life and death to know who you're dealing with, all right? So I want to talk about asking the right questions. So what do you say? How do you ask the right questions? How to ask tactful questions about values, past relationships, and lifestyle. Like, how do you do this without it seeming like you interrogating them? Well, first you want to I gotta get that word out. You want to observe their response. Are they invasive or are they open? When you ask a question, you want to know by watching their body language. It helps you to see if the person is being truthful or not. And if they are the type of person that is going to be holding out on you, you'll be able to see that as well. So I also have a friend that asked about a date history on one of her dates, right? And also asked about his values and everything, and the person wasn't transparent. He was not showing any transparency at all. So they didn't continue their dating. So I've learned in this time that we're living in, transparency seems to be the hot commodity situation now. Everybody want people to be transparent. Like, I need to know everything. And that's a good thing, but it's also not always good when you want to know too much too soon. So I want to teach you how to not ask questions too soon. There's certain things you shouldn't just ask right away, like on your first date, how much you make. Those are things you shouldn't ask right away. Or what do you do with your money when you get paid on the first date? Like those things, it should not be a talk about finances on the first date. And I'm going to go through a lot of questions for you guys on what to ask on each date that you go on to help you make your dating experience a whole lot easy and smoothly. That way, you will be able to get the information about your date before you get serious with them. And I got another exercise for you. I want you to write 3 questions you can ask on your next date to detect inconsistency. I'm not going to give you the questions for that. I want you to actually make those up on your own, because when I get into the dating part of what questions to ask, we're going to see if you asked any of those questions already. Okay, so I'm closing everything up right now. We're going to end this particular episode. And what I want you to know is that slow dating plus red flag awareness equals safety and clarity. Keep that in mind. I'm going to say it one more time. This should be your motto. Slow dating plus red flag awareness equal safety and clarity. Our next episode is episode 3, and we're going to talk about background checks without being creepy. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. And we're going to learn how to verify information discreetly. So that way you can find this information out about your date without them even knowing about it. Also to find out who you're dealing with. Are you dealing with a liar? Or, hey, you might even be dealing with a pedophile. You know, those type of things. You're gonna, especially for those of you who have children. Oh, yes, you definitely got to know who you're dating, okay? So, signing out, Alayla.
Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com, at imagingcoaching.com.